Anyways, I think we should just get this one out of the way. This is probably the worst movie we saw this week. Shrek 2, guys.
Fuck you, Jackson! I love Shrek 2! Shrek 2 is the coming-of-age tale about Shrek, okay? So after the first film, after the first critically acclaimed film, Shrek, they of course need to follow it up, okay? Shrek was revolutionizing the animation market. And so how do they follow it up? Well, with another love story. This time, Shrek is gonna meet the parents, guys.
Whoa!
And, things don't go quite as expected when he meets the in-laws. They don't like Shrek because he's an ugly fucking ogre, okay? And he changed Fiona. There's a lot of sort of like metaphors going on here, you know? Shrek is meant to symbolize the type of man that, I'm not going into that, never mind.
Yeah, this bit has already run its course.
So yeah, Shrek goes to far, far away, Fiona's home kingdom, because, Fiona was a princess after all, so where does she come from? What was she the princess of? Who were her parents? They must have been a king and a queen, right? And so while he's there, they get into a big fight, the parents don't like him at all, and so the fairy godmother comes in to make all of Fiona's dreams come true. Alas, Fiona's dreams have already come true. She just wants her husband to be a little more, sympathetic towards her. That's it. But the king has other plans, okay? The king, as well as the fairy godmother, they plan to murder Shrek in cold blood, so they hire Puss in Boots to go and kill him, okay? Are you following along so far? So Puss doesn't do it. He isn't capable of it. So they go
He gives up shockingly fast.
Right? I'll get into that later. But they go off to retrieve a potion from the fairy godmother to make Shrek handsome, okay? And hilarity ensues, and Shrek and Donkey both become handsome boys. Donkey's now a horse, because horses and donkeys are close enough, I guess. And from there, they go off to see Fiona so that they can live their happily ever after, because that's what Shrek believes Fiona wants. But Prince Charming swoops in, takes Fiona for himself, locks up Shrek, and then the best scene in animated history happens, where they siege the castle. All the while, I Need a Hero's blaring in the background, and they fucking save the day, murder the fairy godmother, and the king becomes a frog.
Just rated S tier already.
S for Shrek.
Yeah, we're not getting to the ratings yet, okay?
I'm unclear on if I've ever seen this movie front to back. Mostly because I remember everything from this movie except the potion factory scene.
Yeah.
That is not in my memory whatsoever. I didn't recognize any of that shit.
That's shocking, dude. That's shocking. So, what were general thoughts of this film? Tanner didn't know the potion factory. Jackson hated it. Blake, how'd you feel about Shrek 2?
I can't say anything bad about it. I think it's an overall good kids movie. Kind of
kids movie. You get that word out of your mouth, Blake.
This is a DreamWorks.
I'm not saying it as a derogatory thing. I think it kind of set the standard for animation in terms of the story and I can't. It also has meme value.
It does have
sure
meme
does.
value.
It was a little silly.
The big thing this movie is doing is it's parodying Los Angeles, Hollywood, and sort of the Hollywood industry in general.
Yeah.
And I think that shit's great. I love all of that. As a South California boy myself, I really dug all of that shit and the way they make fun of, a lot of the way the Kingdom of Far, Far Away looks. It's very South California, like the roads and shit, and they're making fun of the people, and, you got the brands and shit. I thought that was all very funny and well done and very clever of this movie. Also, the Cops parody, I love that shit. That was awesome.
Yeah, that part was sweet. There's so many just fun little hidden jokes here and there throughout this film that I really enjoy. They don't pull too much attention to it, but you get a good laugh whenever you notice it. Now, sort of referencing that sort of fucking thing going on with Hollywood and bullshit, Tanner. There are a lot of references in this film. Now, notably though, they're all done pretty well, It's never just reference for reference's sake. It's not like a fucking, oh, you recognize this thing. Laugh at it now. Laugh, I say. It's so, they always build a joke around it, which I really appreciate. The only one that I don't really think does that is when they fucking pass a bush that apparently looks like some celebrity, I guess.
Oh, yeah. They're we passed the Susan whatever the fuck bush.
Yeah.
I'm
Who is that?
I'm 9.
That one's for the parents. of the
That
early
was the
2000s.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, late 2000s.
yeah, exactly. Not late 2000s.
I thought this movie was 2009.
No.
2004.
4?
Yeah.
I thought that was the original Shrek.
No, the original Shrek was like 2002.
I think it was 4.
I wrote down in my code of 2004, get fact checked.
Yeah. So anyway, in reference to that forest scene, that's where we meet Puss in Boots. And I gotta say, the way they introduced it was really fucking stupid. Like, his little fight with Shrek, he just immediately caves, and then right after
Yeah.
he's like, well, you showed me mercy, so I'm gonna follow you to the ends of the earth now. It's so fucking forced.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that was really dumb. I hope when they fucking when they turned beautiful and they're like going back to a land far, far away and they just like left him there. I wish they just left him and he just never appeared back into the movie again, because he didn't do anything of value really at the end except for like catching the fucking antidote or whatever, or the wand at like the very end. That was like all he did for the rest of the movie basically.
Well, I mean, he had like a little fight scene while they were sieging the tower. Or the castle.
Oh, that's true. He did the little cute ice thing to the guards.
Yeah, and they fucked him up.
Yeah.
I got a question. Why did Fiona turn into a human?
They mentioned
Because
that.
it said, yeah, it also affects the person you're like in love with.
Yeah.
Huh?
Because you're having your happy ever after. You know, you guys are both turned hot.
I get my assumption was he needed to leave like half of it in the bottle for her to drink, and then they drank it all. And I was like, wait, what? But
No.
It's unsure how that potion affects the other person. Quantum entanglement, maybe. We don't know.
okay.
Does that imply that the fucking dragon also
Yes,
turned
that's
into some
exactly
hot
what I was just
thing?
about to ask. The dragon also changed. What do you guys think she turned into?
I don't know. That's a great question. I guess
What is
are they
the
trying to be
hot
like
version of a dragon?
yeah, are they trying to be compatible with each other? Because Shrek and Fiona both turned into humans again, which I guess whatever. But like Donkey turned into a totally different species. Does that mean the dragon would turn into like a species compatible with Donkey? Maybe,
I don't
or
necessarily.
she could be like a hot dragon or something. I don't know. She can turn into like a Chinese dragon.
Yeah, I was about to say she turned into that fucking dragon from Ryan the Last Dragon, the Aquafina dragon.
Oh my god.
That would be sweet.
They never show us. Very disappointing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to ask the director.
Yeah, there we go. Well, let's hunt him down. We need answers to this one. Now, that also sort of spins off, and then my only other, like, real big complaint about this movie. So, like, what the fuck was the fairy godmother's plan exactly here? Like, it relies so much on chance, okay? Where she's like,
What's up,
oh,
I'm not being a dumbass.
yeah. She's like, oh, Shrek drank the potion. That means Fiona will also be a hottie now. I think we can work with this, okay? We can do something here. So, their plan is to, like, you know, get Shrek away from Fiona so that Prince Charming can swoop in there. But, like, fucking, she only knows that Shrek is there because he, like, called out her name. And then he runs to their room where the fairy godmother was apparently waiting for him now. How did she know that there's so many things don't fucking make sense about any of this, Tanner.
Why didn't he break the window? Why didn't he break the window and scream at her that he's there?
Well,
Honestly, the plan they end up going with also requires him to convince Fiona that he is Shrek for their entire lives.
yeah. You see, Jackson, I think the part is, like, why he wouldn't break the window is because the entire, like, first Shrek movie, okay? It's all about Shrek, like, nobody loves him, okay? He's not liked by anybody. And so his whole life, he's just been going through it, being like, okay, yeah, everybody hates me, I guess I don't deserve love or anything like that. But then he actually finds somebody. But then, so the second film is all about him dealing with, like, his self-doubt about, like, whether or not he actually, like, deserves this person. And by that point in the movie, she's just, like, repeatedly telling him, you don't deserve her. She's too good for you. You do not deserve love. And so I think at that point, he's really just at his lowest, and he just feels really defeated, you know?
He should have punched out the window and screamed at her that he was there.
He should have. If he were a more emotionally strong person.
Quick question, guys. Does human Shrek have a bigger or smaller cock than ogre Shrek?
I think he's the exact same amount of hung, because you know he's already got that monster dick. I think he's probably still got that monster dick. Honestly, I guess maybe smaller, so he's like, they probably tweaked it so he's more compatible with Fiona.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think it's just like whatever the perfect amount for her is. Okay. So likely smaller, I'd say.
He's matching that vaginal depth to a T.
Yeah.
Damn girl. Nico, can you start on dating apps asking girls what their vaginal depth is?
And say, oh my gosh, we're perfect. Heart emojis.
Yeah, I guess I can give her a shot. Why not?
Can you try it once this week and then report back to us next week?
Yeah, please fumble a match for us.
Sure, why not?
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
Anyways, this is a weird complaint. And it's also kind of mixed. Because I think the animations in this movie are very lively and pretty well done for the most part.
Yeah, super
but
expressive.
I think the actual, like, 3D art is pretty rough. Like, it's very low resolution. The shading is really bad in a lot of places. The lighting just in general is pretty rough for the most part. Everything's very, like, low quality. But the animations make up for it a lot, honestly. But yeah, most of the movie I was like, wow, that looks like fucking ass. There was a lot of moments like that, as I'm sure Nico remembers. It was just constant.
I think that a lot of the action scenes are pretty poorly done. Like, there's a lot of things where the characters basically look like they're moving in slow motion. Like, there's, like, a specific thing where, like, Shrek is, like, going to punch a dude, and he goes, like... And then the guy, like, flies off. I'm like, huh? Because I guess they couldn't... They thought it looked extra bad if they were animating it too quickly.
The guy's skull in.
Yeah, it just looked goofy as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the choreography was all that good in this film. But overall, I think it was still fine, you know? I think that the general animation and shit was, like, perfectly adequate for the time. Even above adequate, some may say.
Yeah, it was very full of life, is how I think I would describe it. Even though it looked kind of ass, the animations really, made it excel in that regard.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's newer movies, too, that look...
Oh, absolutely.
Factual.
For its time, I'm sure it looked rather impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially,
What's
I don't
another-
know. I don't think people were touting Shrek 2 as a visual marvel back in the day, but I could be wrong.
What's another anime movie that came out in 2004? Let's see what we can compare it to.
Yeah, what was Pixar doing back then? When did Ratatouille come out?
Uh-oh, if Ratatouille came out in 2004, then Shrek 2
It most
is
certainly
definitely in
did
trouble.
not.
It came out in
fucking
2007. 2007.
Oh,
3
okay.
years later, they made Ratatouille. Ratatouille
Okay,
is
guys.
a significant margin better, but 3-year gap, I guess so.
I will say Shrek is doing pretty strongly because Polar Express came out in 2004. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie came out in 2004, but that's 2D
Yeah,
for
that's
the most
apples and
part.
oranges.
So
Yeah.
The Incredibles also came out in 2004.
The Incredibles look like ass, man.
The
This movie was
Incredibles
fucking
does not look
horrible.
as good as you'll remember, Tanner.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
I've honestly probably my brain has probably taken Incredibles 2 animation and then
Like,
transposed
superimposed
it over. Yeah, transposed it over my memories of Incredibles 1.
Yeah, more
Yeah,
than likely.
Incredibles looks like fucking
Shark
dog shit.
Tale also came out that year, guys. Shark Tale.
Shark Tale looks really bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shrek 2 is pretty strong for 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know.
Any
Does
fi-
anyone
any
else
final
have
thoughts, I
any
guess?
other thoughts on the film at all?
Not really.
Nico, you did mention when we were watching it, that scene of the big gingerbread guy like rampaging through the city.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, man. That was also the only scene I remember from that movie. I didn't mention when we were watching. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. I also thought it was super sweet back in the day. I
Yeah.
was a big fan of it.
Honestly, it like scared me a little bit back in the day, okay? Like that massive gingerbread man, they used some really ominous lighting for him.
They do.
sure do.
Poor little guy. Do you think he's just dissolving at the bottom of this river still to this day?
Probably.
Oh, they had a really solid joke in that sequence where he like starts smashing up the Starbucks and then the people run out of it into another Starbucks across the street.
Yeah, I see all of that.
So yeah, guys, with that, I guess we can like move right along to the ratings here, okay?
Lay it on us, Nico.
All right, I'll go first here, guys. I think this film is fantastic. I'm a big fan. I'm gonna give it an S-.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm giving it a tier below that, and by like a tier below that, I mean a letter below that. I'm giving it an A-. I thought it was enjoyable, but the plot was relatively generic and the art wasn't super great.
I give it a solid A.
Solid A, okay.
I'm in agreement with Jackson and I'm going with an A- as well.
Damn. That I
Perfect,
need a
enough.
hero scene, guys. That scene is fucking fire.
All right, and that puts it at a solid A on the tier list, which puts it about the same tier as South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Outcat, which honestly is sounds about right.
Yeah.
Feels appropriate.
Yeah.